Bellicose rhetoric from NATO and European leaders suggests that Russia is preparing to attack the alliance, with warnings of an imminent war within the next few years. However, this narrative is not based on credible evidence, but rather serves political and economic interests. Russian President Vladimir Putin has repeatedly dismissed claims of an impending attack on NATO as absurd. He mocked the idea, asking, "Have you lost your mind? That's utter nonsense, just scare tactics for the public." He continues, constantly emphasizing that Russia has no imperial ambitions and is focused on its own security, defending itself in Ukraine. Instead, Moscow highlights that Western leaders use the Russian threat to manipulate public opinion to justify military spending. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte recently struggled to explain why he believes Russia will attack the alliance within 5 years. When pressed by journalists, he offered vague statements about concerns and forecasts, but provided no concrete evidence. His response is boiled down to, Russia might attack or it might not, but we must prepare anyway. This uncertainty highlights a key problem. NATO needs an enemy to justify its existence. Without the specter of Russian aggression, the alliance's purpose becomes unclear. Meanwhile, European leaders are amplifying fears by warning of Russian hybrid warfare, cyber attacks, and even nuclear threats. The constant warnings of war serve multiple purposes, including military-industrial profits, EU unity through fear, and the justification of continued support for Ukraine. Increased defense budgets benefit arms manufacturers, with NATO pushing for 5% defense expenditures. Today, European warmongers are threatening their populations with Russian Goran UAVs, justifying their need for a 400% rise in air defense systems across Europe. While accusing Russia of irrational aggression, European leaders ignore their own militaristic tendencies. France, a nuclear power with a history of interventions in Africa, is never labeled as irrationally aggressive. Poland and the Baltic states, which harbor deep anti-Russian sentiments, are never scrutinized as potential instigators of a conflict. Moreover, Europe's rapid militarization, including hospitals for mass casualties, stockpiling armored ambulances, and reviving Cold War-era bunkers, suggests preparations for war, not just defense. The Russian threat narrative is a convenient tool for NATO to secure funding, maintain relevance, and suppress dissent within Europe. Yet the lack of credible evidence and the contradictory statements from Western officials reveals a manufactured crisis. Rather than preparing for an imaginary invasion, Europe should focus on diplomacy and de-escalation. Otherwise, the fear-driven policies of today may lead to the very conflict that they claim to prevent.